This is Our Life in Tow. We're Lindsay and Dan, and we're excited to give you a closer look and tour of our Brinkley Model I-235. We traded in an Airstream trailer for a Brinkley I-235 and have now spent over a month and 2,000 miles in it. And we're finally ready to give you an inside and out, honest, lived in the wild tour you won't get from any dealership. To start, here's a quick look at the layout and sizing specs for the Brinkley Model I-235. Feel free to take a screenshot to reference this later. We'll start the tour on the exterior, and one of the biggest things that drew us to Brinkley after owning an Airstream was the construction. It's still built with an aluminum structure. The exterior is a seamless laminated aluminum design which is durable and built to last for wear and tear over time. Brinkley also uses a low-maintenance roof system, which has fewer drill holes, reducing the chance for leakage and water damage, as well as other elements. And something that we really appreciate, they also include an automotive-style protection coating on the exterior, which we actually had to pay extra to add to our Airstream.
So this is an outside look at our Model I-235 Brinkley. And we're starting here at the front. So at the front, you have a typical jack for a travel trailer. And for this one, it has, similar to a lot of them, it has a light and then it has an up and down. It goes quite slow. This one was a little bit more flimsy for the bottom piece than our Airstream one. So we did, again, add snap pads to the front. And then your ball connects here. It comes with either two large or two small propane tanks inside, and this whole piece kind of comes up. There's knobs up here to release it and access it, so I can unscrew it here, open it up, and look at them. What's really nice about these ones too is it actually has a nozzle on it that tells you your level of propane, so you don't have to buy those additional accessories aftermarket. And then we did add a heating box for our batteries. We have lithium batteries. We're really happy we went with lithium because Brinkley's also comes standard with 200 watts of solar, with addition to add up to 600 watts of solar. So with the lithium batteries, it can actually be recharged by the solar panels, and you can also bring your batteries down much further than the AGMs. So we had those transferred from our Airstream. They're the Battleborn. They're a little bit larger than I think what people typically put in a Brinkley, but it worked with the heater box that we have installed here. And then the hitch that we have installed is a 4-point equalizer hitch, and you have to make sure that your hitch is standard to the weight that you're pulling. So Brinkley's are also a little bit more higher in weight than Airstreams, but it's worth it for the size and everything that you get. And then if we come over to the side here, we actually have a really large storage compartment that goes all the way through to either side. And then all of your controls are over here, which is nice because it's on the driver's side, so you can control all of your water and whatnot. And so what we have here is your water controls. You also have your outside shower that you can access. And then your water control, we have a hookup to city water right now, you can see. And it has actually a 60-foot extendable hose to kind of keep the integrity of the hose. We're kind of using the connection right here, but you can pull it out 60 feet if you need to. There's also satellite cable and aux connects in here, and then it does have a separate inlet for flushing your black tank and gray tank. And so all the controls you can change here. So if you're doing the black tank, you would do siphon mode. And so there's kind of a cheat sheet built in here, which is really nice.
Here's a closer look at those water hookups.
There's also GCFI outlets. What's nice about this is it also has a 300-watt inverter built in, so you can actually use GCFI outlets with your inverter, which is really nice. There's also a little light here too, if you're doing things at night. And then you have your electric jacks for putting down your stabilizers, which are really nice. So 2 stabilizer controls are in here, and you control those to put down your front and back. And then over here, what's nice about this model too is it has a very large slide. So ours comes out about 3 feet. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're parking in camping spaces, but the slide is on the driver's side, and this is the only slide that this model has. And as you can see up here, all the windows, so it's during the day right now, but at night it gets pretty good privacy. So all of the windows are really nice like this, and then they also have the ability to get pulled out, and when you do that, even if it's raining, you can have the windows open and nothing will get in. And then all your hookups can get connected easily from the driver's side, and this is a 50 amp, but as you can see down here, we're actually using a converter to 30 amps because this was the campsite that we could get. And we're happy to report we've had 0 issues, and we've used just about everything from the fireplace, the microwave, to the AC. This unit does have just 1 AC, and we've had 0 issues with using a 30 amp site with a dog bone converter. And then over here is your electrical plug-in. This is a nice one. The cord is really heavy, just to note, but it does kind of screw in to keep the seal, and then you do turn it to pull it out. And then over here is also access to your Furrion tankless water heater. We've used it a lot for showers recently, and it's been really nice. And then on the back, what's really nice too is this comes with a ladder, and then up at the top there are bars that can help you hoist yourself up once you're up on top.
Here's a view of the roof. We put our Starlink up here, and then there is 200 watts of solar that comes standard. There's a 5G hookup. And then there's also your Furrion AC, which works really well. And then you can see there's the 2 max air fans up top.
And then you can see we've mounted our bikes using the quad bike hitch, and it can hold up to 300 pounds on the back, I believe, and we've had no problems so far. And it's just nice to carry our bikes on the back of our truck, or back of our RV, and then we can easily move it to the back of our truck if we need. And then moving to the front has a very large awning that goes all the way across. It's an electrical awning, which is a little different than what we had with the Airstream, which was a manual awning. And what's nice about it is it also has LED lights that go across, and the door to this model is kind of in the middle, and then it has 3 stairs that fold back into the model, and also has a nice easy handlebar that's easy to put away and store when you're not using, and lock. That example. And your outside furnace exhaust is here. We're gonna get some metal covers so that animals don't crawl in there or bugs, but it's kind of nice because it's further away than the GCFI outlet, whereas in our Airstream, it had been right next to it, so we kind of like this one better. What's nice about this model is there's so many windows, so you can't even tell from the outside that this is a huge window, but this is where your TV projector is on the inside. And what's really cool about this model is you can flip the projector to watch outside. So that's a really fun feature. And then over on this side, you have your power disconnect. So there's an additional outside shower hose right here, and then you have all of your disconnects. So you have a 12-volt switch that disconnects everything except your refrigerator, solar, and jack. So we have tried using that to kind of save power when we're going en route to a site. And then there's a full storage mode disconnect that turns off everything. That's if I'm plugging into Shore Power. I'll turn that off real quick and then I'll go plug in so I'm not jolting the system, and then I'll turn that back on. There's also a turn off for the solar panel. So if something's going wrong with your solar panel that you're seeing, you can, if you have any fears about it, or if you're adding a new solar panel, this is where they would turn that off to access that. And then for this outside shower, there is another compartment again that you can use to run a hose through for easy access, so you can close your storage compartment doors. And it fits a lot. Like, I guess, for example, it can fit me. So it's pretty big. That's kind of the rundown on the outside. We can head inside and check it out.
To head inside, we do have to put the stairs down, and then we'll start with the control panel.
Up top is all of your control center.
To the left is the control for the max air fan in your kitchen. And then the center panel has everything from your tank levels, which you can see in the top left corner, which is on a third system. And then you can also see your charge level. And then as well as that, in the middle, you can see your lighting controls, as well as your tank heaters, your water pump, and then below that is the way that you put your electronic awning out, as well as your slide. And then to the right is your controls for your sound system.
And then there's an additional storage compartment up here. There's not an oven in this unit, so we carry a Breville oven and it fits perfectly up here. Then if we can continue on to the main area and the kitchen, you can see here that there's 3 hooks that are pretty heavy duty and can hold backpacks as well as our dog leashes. So those are stored on this wall and they come with the unit, which is really nice. And then overall in the kitchen, it's pretty spacious with the slide out. And what's unique to this model too is that you can access everything with
the slide in.
So we are harvest hosting and we got in late and didn't want to put our slide out. So this is kind of the width that you get when you get that. We can still access everything. Fridge. Right down here, you can get to your kitchen. The only thing without the slide out, the inverter doesn't work on the outlets. We haven't tried the stove yet, but you can access all the drawers. The sink works. You can even still kind of open these and the drawers. So if you need something, you can still get to it. And then the bathroom, you can get to everything in the bathroom. It's really exciting. So if we start over this part of the kitchen, we do have that pretty large convection microwave up here, and then we do have a 3-burner stove top over here with a little bit of extra counter space here and in the back. And then over here, what's really unique about Brinkley's is they do include a trash compartment with additional storage for paper towel holders, as well as snack bags or gallon-sized bags, so it's a really nice setup there. And then we do have additional storage down here for kitchen supplies that comes with 2 shelves, and then they do give you 2 to 3 small but pretty deep kitchen drawers. And then over here in the corner where the microwave plugs into, we keep a fire blanket in here for safety reasons. And then if we turn to this section, we have an additional 2 drawers. This is where we keep our silverware. And then there's a pretty large counter space here where you can put like a cutting board, or if you need to put a dish rack, you can put that here. Sometimes we put our Breville oven here. And then another drawer down here as well. And then there's a large storage area below the sink. This is also dishwasher prepped. Fun fact, we're supposed to have a dishwasher, but we don't yet, but it will be dishwasher prepped, so that is where that would go. and then a super large farmhouse sink over here, and the sprayer comes off, and it has pretty decent power. And what I like about this sink too is that it has kind of a protective film on it, so it's scratch resistant, and you can really tell the difference. When we were using our Airstream, we were really nervous with the stainless steel of it scratching, but with this, I am not nervous at all, which is really nice. And then it also comes standard with a towel rack, which is really nice, and it's high enough so your towel doesn't land in the sink. And then a super nice large window with a blind, of course, and then the bottom here does open, which is nice. And then we do have some more cabinets up here where we keep our dishes and cups, and it's just a really nice layout of a kitchen. And then if we go to the right over here, we'll step into our really large bathroom. So as you can see, it comes with a really nice 3-door slide shower with a lot of extra kind of space, and it is a one-piece unit for the shower, so that means that you don't have to worry about water leakage or having to replace or reseal anything. It's a one-piece unit. And then it does have extra head height in there. So fun fact, Dan is 6'3", so he's a bit on the taller side for RVers. So the extra height really does help there. And he's in a much better place showering in here than he was in our Airstream, where he would duck, sit, try to do all the things, but he can actually fit in the shower. He does have to bend down a little bit to get the water on his head, but it's much better than what we had before. And then has a really nice counter space in here. It also has a large storage area below the sink as well. And then again, you have that really resistant sink in here. And then what we love is the backlighting on the mirror. And then over here, there are 3 towel racks. We also have one of the Eva dries, so basically capturing moisture. And then if you turn a little bit here, there is a cabinet in here for more storage. So we store towels in here, extra kind of supplies for getting ready in the bathroom, and then your water heater is located in here. It is a tankless water heater run by propane. And then there's an additional storage cabinet up here. This is actually where we keep extra sheets for our laundry supply. And then if we turn it right here, you can see that you have your fan switch here. So it does have that max air fan in here, which is pretty nice. Again, with the air, again, with the rain sensor. And then what's nice about this as well is the door is a pocket door, and it locks. So you can close that and it closes nicely. And then you can put it back in and it'll pop in. There's also this additional shelf in the kitchen I forgot to mention. Some people mentioned putting spices here. I'm sure if you're staying a while, that would be great. I did notice on the Brinkleys, some of these ledges for the spice rack do vary. Ours is quite short, and with moving in the RV, as you know, I would not feel comfortable putting a spice rack there. There's also 3 shelves down here, and then a porcelain toilet with a foot flush, and then you can see the little grate in the corner, so that's related to your furnace. And there's a few of those throughout. So down here, another one of those grates with the furnace, and then a carbon monoxide detector, and there's even another little grate down below the shower. So some really nice touches that Brinkley did include in here. We've been really enjoying it. There's also an AC fan, so it's ducted AC. This unit does have 1 AC, so it's not like some other units with 2, but it is ducted, which is really nice. And then you can see the speakers up here. So I'm gonna hand that back to Dan and we'll continue on. So moving back into the living room space, so what's really nice about the Brinkley as well for this model is it does come with a fireplace. It also has a hidden gem of a desk. So I will show you and pull this out just very fair warning, when you are buying one of these, make sure you test out the desk. There was one unit that we did try out, and honestly, the desk just didn't work. So just make sure that you're testing that out, and when you go to buy, you're really thoroughly doing a check. And I'm gonna move Lincoln to show you. So under here, you just kind of lift up and then you pull. And it can go to different degrees. So it can go out quite far, but since Lincoln's here, I won't show you all the way out, but we kind of like this style. So you can see over here, we have a travel desk that Dan will sit at. And then I can sit over here at this desk, and it comes out quite a bit further. So it'll come out to about here, but it's nice, you can kind of adjust what style you like. It also comes with a drawer. We use this as like our junk and key drawer. It's just nice and easy. I know some people mentioned a utensil drawer, whatever you'd like to use it for, but it is nice and it goes back in pretty easy. So it goes flush back in, which is nice, and it comes with this big center area. And then one other highlight here, again, is the fireplace down here that does change color. And right now it's summer, so we have it not set to temperature, so it doesn't put out heat. But in the winter, when you're cold, that will put out a decent amount of heat. We tested it, it works. There's also a cubby down here. We haven't yet decided what to use it for, but just to note, it's not super deep, so it's not like you could put like a gaming system in there or anything, but there is a cubby there. And then over here is your big kind of spacious window. It's a little bit blocked by the door being open, but it's a big window. You can see the trees out there. We're in West Glacier, so it's really beautiful right now to have all the windows open to be able to see everything. And then over here, on each window, there are blackout curtain blinds that work pretty well. One thing to note that we noticed with Airstream, the blackout curtains are completely blackout. For these ones, the little holes in them make it a little bit see-through, but it's not a huge deal. It still gets fairly dark. So when you pull that down, this is also your TV. So it's a projector style. It has two options. You can watch outside and you can watch inside. So it comes with a big projector screen that you pull down. Still up in the air. I think for us, the projector has been a bit of a headache. So when we bought the unit, they said that the projector wasn't necessarily on straight, so it's a bit crooked. There is a sensor within there that you can go through the motions of straightening it out, but it's a little frustrating for every time you want to watch TV, and sometimes it can be over here, it can be over here, so a little bit of feedback on that. But the projector lives up here and it's actually removable, but what can get crooked is the pin inside, and would have to be removed to straighten out. But it's removable. It's also a speaker. I know that we haven't tested it yet, but watching outside, you could remove it, use it outside as a outside speaker, or you can use it as an outside movie player somewhere else, and it lasts about 2 hours. So over here is where our little doodles are. So just for reference, this is Lincoln, and this little guy over here is Rocky. But they love the theater seating, as you can see. So these chairs are really awesome. So they come with the unit. You can also opt in for a tri-fold couch, but we really like these chairs. They come with 2 cup holders and a cubby for storage. So we store a lot of our remotes in here. And then in the chair itself, when you sit down, if you have a doodle to move, when you sit down, you can pull the side and the legs come out. And even better than that, they can go out even further. So we can lay all the way down and it's really nice. These ones don't have a heater like some of the other ones, but it's still nice. And then as you can see, Dan uses a kind of folding desk as a workstation. That's one option that you could look into that we found works really well. And then over here in the main space is your bedroom. This model is kind of nice because you get a bigger bed. So what we went from was a 20 FB Caravelle in Airstream, and what we were working with was something thinner than a full, but basically a little bit longer than a full. And so for 2 people and 2 dogs, it was a lot. And so we went to this, and this is an Olympic Queen, which is really nice. So it's much bigger, more space, and what's also really nice is the under compartment storage. So when I lift this up, there's tons of storage down here, and it comes standard with 2 folding chairs, as well as a step, and then these doors do open down here. It also comes with a laundry bin, and then 3 kind of shelves that we use for shoes, and it's more than enough storage there. There's also, if you wanted to, additional hooks here for hanging clothes. We haven't really found use for that just because we're storing our laundry bin and our chairs down here, but some people might find that useful. And so it is on a spring system, so it goes down pretty softly. Just make sure you hold it down. And then over in the cabinets, so it's kind of a his and her closet system, which we like. So it does have those additional hanging hooks in there, and so we can hang both of our clothes separately. And then it does come with a smaller little drawer down here, and then additional small cabinet on this side. And then this up top cabinet is pretty deep for clothing, and it goes all the way through, even if there's not a center cabinet for access. So that's pretty nice. And then if we come back here, you can see in the back, there are these bedside table lights. They actually auto set to blue, but if you hold it, it'll go back to normal lighting, which is pretty cool. And then there is a hidden compartment down here, a bedside table, which has a little hole in it. So you can plug in a charger and loop it through, and there's plugs on either side as well as USBs. So those are really nice. It's nice that we can both have a bedside table and his and her closets. And so if we go over here too, there is the curtain for separation. We kind of keep that closed at night, just for all of additional lights that might stay on. But this curtain is completely blackout, so that's pretty nice. Sometimes we close it if we want to feel just more of a not see our bed in the space. And then right behind our bed is this big, gigantic front window. We love this. It comes again with a blackout curtain, shade that goes down, but they did a really nice job with this front window, and we really enjoy that. And so on the side over here, you have more of your controls, as well as an HDMI plug-in, more outlets, and then this switch over here controls the light in front of the projector.
On this wall is also your furnace controls, and then a light for the bedroom.
And most of the switches are on a dimmer. Another kind of up with this model is having that slide out. So this slide out, I don't know if we showed you, but it goes all the way from the couches into the kitchen area. And so it gives us that extra open feeling. And then with this, we also get extra height. Inside here, so much taller. I feel like we have an extra foot in height. All in all, for the inside, we really enjoy this model and are so much happier kind of with the transition from our Caravelle 20 FB from Airstream. It has a lot of the same kind of luxury level up feel to it that we were getting with Airstream. And Airstream is reliable, and this is a newer brand, so there's always risk with that, but I think it's a 12 out of 10 as far as what we're experiencing, and are really happy with the purchase. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe and hit that like button below, and keep following along if you want to hear more content like this.